Welcome everyone to this discussion on a rather weighty subject, exploring the role of Jamaat during the Liberation War, their political decisions, and the ideological accountability behind those actions. Yes, it's a crucial topic. It really makes you question how political narratives can sometimes be used to deflect responsibility, right? Absolutely. You see, during 1971, while atrocities were unfolding in what was then East Pakistan, Jamaat didn't stand neutral. Instead, they actively supported formations like Al Badr and the Razakars, aligning themselves with the Pakistani military.
Yes.
They essentially became complicit in genocide, rape, and widespread looting. That's really intense. And it's interesting because then they later argue, almost as if saying, look, we're just making a political decision because India is portrayed as Hindu, so we sided with Pakistan. But does that really absolve them of the crimes committed? Exactly. It's problematic when political statements are used to cover up actual criminal behavior. I mean, it's like saying a bad action is justified by claiming it's just politics.
Yeah, right.
And we have to ask, how can aligning with a state that commits such atrocities be reduced to a mere political stance? For sure. And that brings us to another important point. What about the religious claims they make? They called themselves an Islamic group, yet their actions were far from the ethical guidelines prescribed in Islam. Right, indeed. Islam explicitly condemns killing innocent people, harming women, and attacking the defenseless, even during war.
Yeah.
So, how can a group that professes to follow Islam justify actions like mass rape and genocide under the banner of political necessity? That's the conundrum. It's like they're taking the sacred name of Islam and twisting it to serve their political ideologies. I mean, isn't it contradictory? Absolutely contradictory. We have to hold them accountable not just politically, but also ideologically. If you claim to be an Islamic organization, then you must answer under the strict ethical precepts of the faith, which clearly forbid such atrocities. Right, exactly. And then there's the issue of how history is being normalized. We often hear arguments like it happened in a time of turmoil or it was just politics. But when you do that, aren't you, in a way, erasing the gravity of these actions? Precisely. To brush off these acts as mere political missteps is to trivialize genocide and rape, and to dishonor the sacrifices and suffering of the victims.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Normalizing this history feeds into a dangerous cycle where such crimes might be repeated or even justified in the future. I get that, but some might argue, well, the context was extraordinarily unstable. Is it really fair to ignore the fact that political instability might, in some cases, lead to extreme actions? I see your point, but here's the challenge. Unstable times do not provide moral cover for mass atrocities.
I
It's
agree.
like saying a storm justifies demolishing an entire city. The context may explain the conditions, but it never excuses the choices made. That's a strong analogy. And it really begs the question, if historical crimes are normalized by deeming them as political decisions, then we're essentially putting a double standard in place. Right, and those double standards can be incredibly dangerous. They not only distort historical truth, but also deny the accountability that is due to those responsible for such grievous violations. Yeah, absolutely. So, in essence, the debate isn't just about political alignment, but also about reclaiming historical responsibility and ensuring ideological consistency. Exactly. We have to question and challenge these narratives which try to camouflage crimes with political rhetoric. If an organization claims to follow Islamic principles, then they need to face the dual scrutiny of both political and religious
That's very
ethics.
true.
And this approach is critical not just for historical accuracy, but also for setting a precedent for the future. If we let these narratives slide, might we risk repeating the same patterns? Precisely. Normalizing such a history sends a dangerous message. It essentially spits in the face of the sacrifices made, and worse yet, encourages a sort of historical amnesia. Right, exactly. It's a call to be vigilant, the need to interrogate political decisions that seem to aim at covering up criminal actions, to question whether there truly is any ideological justification for these textbook violations of human rights. And that's our responsibility, isn't it? Whether as scholars or as thought leaders, it's critical that we challenge these double standards and insist on truth and accountability. Absolutely. Looking at it another way, The insistence on political decision can sometimes be a convenient smokescreen. It's like using political instability as an excuse not to acknowledge, well, to truly confront the crimes that happened. Exactly, and that's precisely why historical clarity is so vital. We can't allow the reinterpretation of these events to serve as a cover up for what, at their core, were heinous crimes. Yeah, indeed. And in doing so, we also respect the memory of the victims and maintain a moral compass for future generations. We can't let these distortions dictate the narrative. Most definitely not. If we start accepting these excuses as valid, the dangerous outcome is, an erosion of accountability, where future political decisions might be similarly shielded from criticism. Right on. It's a powerful reminder that history, no matter how contentious, must be confronted with honesty and a unified ethical standard. And that's why it's imperative not only to remember these events, but also to insist on scrutinizing every claim, especially those that try to hide the ugly truth behind a veneer of politics. Absolutely. So, in closing, our task is to continually question narratives that use political justifications to cover up crimes, and to ensure that those aligning themselves with Islam are held to the true, ethical values the religion espouses. Yes, we must keep asking these tough questions, challenging biased narratives, and, above all, respecting the memory and sacrifice of those who suffered the consequences of these decisions. Rightly said. Thanks everyone for joining this dialogue. Remember, history asks us to stay informed, ask hard questions, and never shy away from challenging double standards. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and until next time, take care and keep questioning. All right, take care.